Identity. I'm just curious. What is it that makes us who we are? What is it that changes us from one person to another when we have moments of not being ourselves, when we do something that is very uncharacteristic of our usual conduct? Is it that our real self is only us, or we're only that person under regular circumstances or under optimal circumstances? Do we, is it a certain amount of stress that makes us turn into somebody else? That we handle things in different ways, things that we're not accustomed to handling? Having psychological defenses trip and kick in and kind of enact a survival method or survival tactic. It's very interesting. I've observed this in myself and in others. Times when someone is not themselves. Is it a reaction to some sort of crisis? And in that frame of mind, in that time span, we have a seemingly exaggerated sense of rationale. We can, a lot of things can make sense at the time. A lot of things make sense at the time. It happens all the time. How many times has anybody ever said, "That seemed like a good idea at the time," and it did make sense at the time? And hindsight's always 20/20. But this isn't about justification. It's about exploring why we turn into another individual at times. Are we all schizophrenic? Well, not schizophrenic, but I think we all have multiple personalities. I've seen people, myself, I am a different person, a slightly different person, depending on my company. God's brain. Depending on the people I am around. In essence, I am the same person, but my sense of humor or not my beliefs don't change, none of that changes, but depending on, and it changes with person to person. It's a different mode of thinking, it's a different train of thought and process, different objectives. If I am talking with somebody about their personal problems or helping them explore something about themselves, I become an extremely cold, and, well, not extremely cold, but somewhat cold and detached, rational thinker. Picking apart the hows and the whys and the whats and the haws and figuring out why people do the things that they do and why they feel the way they feel. And a lot of this comes from experience and insight and whatnot. And anyhow, but I don't know. I find it interesting when I see somebody I know behave in a way that is very much not like their norm, and it's not to say it's a bad thing. Everybody is, whoever the hell they want to be, you know. But it begs the question: who is this individual that you know? Any individual, you know, is what you see a front? Is that, you know, putting their best foot forward? Is that, or is that who they really are? You know, their attitudes and their demeanors, you know, throughout everyday life. Is that how they feel deep inside? Odds are no. I mean, most people aren't. Most people, you know, everybody wears masks. Everybody has um, different personas that they put on, either consciously or subconsciously. Everybody does it, but you know, but the the very very radical changes are what I'm interested in, and interested in finding out and discovering and exploring. The um, yeah, what makes us turn into another individual? Um, Speaking from personal experience, love and fear can be extremely powerful factors, especially when put together. Especially when put together. They can completely rape you of your rational thinking and your normal trains of thought. And what do we do about those moments? What do we do about them? Are we, should we be ashamed of them? Sometimes we should be. Sometimes we should be. But other times, maybe not. You know, other times, maybe the person you become is something that, you know, needs to be expressed. Yeah, maybe. And then there's those instances when we turn this to somebody else, like as in another individual, as in, you know, emulating another person, you know, trying to be like another person and say things that another person would say. And that's not good in any regard. I mean, they say imitation is the highest form of flattery, but I don't know. I don't think so anymore. I never did, but I love having these things to ponder and explore. It just, I love exploring life. I love exploring people. I just sometimes wish that they didn't have to be brought up through such tragic events. But, que sera, sera. These things happen, and life goes on. It always will.